Thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. We got a lot of movie news to dive in here today. I'm sure there's going to be at least one story in here for anybody. We got stuff for anyone who's a horror fan or a superhero fan, even fans for a Predator.
It's actually The Predator, not For Predators.
Or The Predator. Okay, good. I don't want to be no Chris Hansen. But like I said, yes, we'll be touching upon the Paranormal Activity reboot. We got some details on the villains involved in the Into the Spider-Verse sequel, the plot line for the new Predator reboot that's coming out. That and so much more, guys. So many of your opinions down below with everything we discuss here today. Really want to go ahead and say thank you to everybody who's been watching my WandaVision breakdowns. I posted my breakdown and what I thought about the most latest episode that just went ahead and released the other day. Even dressed up as Vision for you guys, painted my face red and everything. So go ahead and watch that thing. And also tomorrow we will be talking about the Zack Snyder Justice League trailer that they will release. They've been releasing little snippets of footage so far every other day, and oh my god, this thing looks like a whole different movie, which I guess it was always going to be a whole different movie. Darkseid is looking fantastic. Superman in that black suit. Oh, we're going to break that down tomorrow when the full thing releases. So getting started here, I want to talk about a film that I was super excited that Hollywood was going to be trying to remake again, and that was Face Off. A lot of you guys who watch my channel know I have been very excited for Willy's Wonderland, and one of the main reasons for me being excited for that film was because it starred Nicolas Cage. Well, my love for Nicolas Cage began with the movie Face Off. Any of you youngsters out there or people who have not heard or watched this movie yet, I highly recommend it to you, okay? It is just crazy goodness of the 90s. Basically, the best way I can describe the premise to you is when a top FBI agent swaps faces with the top most wanted criminal of their time, Nicolas Cage, things get a little crazy and the FBI agent has to do everything he can to get his face back. But the reason I'm talking about this is because, yes, we heard that Hollywood was going to go ahead and make a brand new movie, and anybody who was a fan of that film was pretty excited because they knew, okay, this all depends on who are the two main actors that they get to be the lead that are going to be swapping faces in this film. And while we still don't know who those actors are, something that went ahead and just made this movie so much better, we now know that the director Adam Wingard, who is the current director for Godzilla vs. Kong, which I think is kind of the perfect man to be working on Face Off because he's making Godzilla vs. Kong, a movie that's about two gigantic things versus each other, now bringing it down to what I think is the most iconic versus movie ever made, Face Off. He has gone ahead and clarified that this will not be a reboot, that this will not be a reimagining, that he is planning to make a direct sequel to the original Face Off, and that's pretty amazing to me as a fan of the original movie. I'm hoping that means they can bring back John Travolta and Nicolas Cage in the film somehow, because their two characters is what really made that movie iconic for me, but I still want them to bring two new actors to swap faces, so maybe they can just be the mentors of these other guys. But I really just wanted to start bringing this movie to your guys' attention. Will you be watching the sequel for Face Off? Who do you want them to cast as the two new main leads? And do you think they'll bring back John Travolta and Nicolas Cage if it's a direct sequel? Moving on here to talk about a horror franchise I do enjoy partaking every now and then, and that is the Paranormal Activity horror franchise. Well, some of you may know that they've been working on a reboot for the longest time, and it's finally moving forward. In fact, we have our director and our writer. The Hollywood Reporter here had the exclusive that Will Abonk, who most recently directed the movie Underwater with Kristen Stewart, and along with that, they also had Christopher Landon, who was the guy who just most recently made the movies Freaky and both Happy Death Day movies, and has also worked on a couple of the Paranormal Activity movies in the past. I think this duo right here is perfectly well suited for the new reimagining of Paranormal Activity. Even in this article, they call it here an unexpected retooling. So while it's still set, it's set in the same universe with all the other Paranormal Activity movies. They're kind of going back to the basics and wanting to do something new and different with it. So I kind of doubt that we'll be getting the same thing we've been getting with some of these movies where it's just a couple at home that decide to record some of the creepy stuff going on in their house. I wouldn't mind something new, like maybe an office location where something haunted is going on. Maybe something that deals with a larger group of people out there. It's still said that they will keep the found footage format, so they won't go ahead and start making it look like an actual movie. But these two guys attached, sure, why not? I did see Underwater with Kristen Stewart, and actually was surprised at how much I ended up liking that movie. I thought they did a good job with some of the creepy monsters in there and building up suspense. So I feel like this guy will be capable of doing some of that same creepy stuff with the Paranormal Activity franchise. I just wonder if this franchise is burnt out and maybe a lot of people don't care about it, because I remember I first started watching Paranormal Activity because I thought it was real. I was duped into thinking this actually happened. But even when I found out it was just a fake movie, I still ended up liking the lore and the story behind it, and I was intrigued to watch each entry. So I'm excited excited for the Paranormal Activity reboot, but what about you guys? Will you be watching this unexpected retooling, and what would you want them to do different in this new movie? Alright, for this next story, I'm gonna need to know if you're a cop watching me right now, because if you is, I'm gonna need you to shut it off and walk away. My parents were always afraid of me dealing drugs or something like that. Turns out I'd be dealing illegal images. Not just any illegal images. Space Jam 2 illegal promo images. Big shout out to the Twitter account Space Jam 2021, which is a Twitter account dedicated to just talking about Space Jam 2 news and anything they can find online. And oh my god, they found the mother of Space Jam 2 promo art that gives us a look of the team in their full uniforms. And I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys some photos right here, because as a person who's super excited for this Space Jam movie, I think the team looks pretty rad. So right here, looking at what seems to be a puzzle, we have the team in full uniform. I'm getting more and more used to these costumes right here, and oh my god, what is that? They went ahead and freaking animated LeBron James into a toon character, and this film is a horror movie now. It's gonna scare your kids, and you shouldn't bring them to it. Are we gonna have parts of this movie where it's 2D animated and LeBron James goes full cartoon on us? Why couldn't they do that for good old MJ? I know they stretched his arm like he was Mr. Fantastic. Still though, this is really a great lineup of characters and people we've seen in the past from other movies like I've mentioned before. I like how Marvin the Martian is going to be a member of the team instead of the referee like he was last time around. We know possibly the referee this time around will be the character The Mask. That's right, The Mask, who was once played by Jim Carrey, because it's said that this time around the Space Jam characters will be invading our favorite Warner Brother movies and making themselves part of iconic scenes that we've seen in the past, which is the part I'm kind of really excited to see how they blend that in with a basketball game. One thing also to mention with these photos right here giving us a look of the team, there's 2 members that were released during a little teaser that was in association with Microsoft when they were doing a contest. That were 2 members that we were kind of excited to be part of the team, but they're nowhere to be found on this merchandise. And one of them is Gosmer. We saw him in that promo, so he's nowhere to be seen here, which kind of sucks. I'm really excited to see that giant dude be part of the team. And also Penelope Pussycat. She was also part of that promo, but she's nowhere to be seen in this merchandise. So I'm wondering if those are 2 like surprise characters that are going to jump in there, or why they're not showing them in some of the merchandise around here. Other interesting thing to note here is we've been seeing this a lot through the promotion is that there's this like silver basketball that's going to be part of Space Jam 2 that I think is just going to be some sort of big secret or kind of the key that the characters need to kind of end whatever madness is going on in the Space Jam world. Weird, I would never eat Space Jam cereal with silver balls in it. With this movie being part of the HBO Max deal that it'll release on its streaming service and theaters, we are set to get this trailer in the next couple of months, maybe even couple of weeks. So I'm really looking forward to Space Jam 2, and these leaked promotional images just kind of got me a little more hyped up. What about you guys? What do you think about this look of Space Jam 2? Do you like Do you like the animated LeBron James? Which so far is your favorite character and costume? And what do you think the significance of the silver ball is? Moving on to some details about the new Predator reboot that is set to come out. Man, they are really deciding to reboot Predator like if he was Batman. But whether you like it or not, now that Disney owns the property of the Predator ever since the Fox merger, and they are also working on an Alien TV series, so they're putting hard work on these extraterrestrial beings who are killers. Details have leaked online of what we can expect to see from Predator 5, this Predator reboot with Disney, and I'm kind of liking these details right here. So it goes as Predator 5 is allegedly taking viewers back in time to a pre-European Comanche tribe. The full synopsis, which was first reported by AVP Galaxy, would supposedly follow Key, a Comanche woman who goes outside the established gender norms to fight for her tribe, presumably against a predator. Through her fight, Key will attempt to prove she is capable leader of the tribe despite her gender. So basically what we're getting here is Native Americans versus predators. Yo, I'm up for that. I think that this movie gets the idea of what Predator is, and it's something that was kind of forgotten in some of the newest recent Predator movies, is that Predator is all about this alien being whose whole life existence is just about being the ultimate hunter. That's what they like to do. They just like going to different planets and testing their abilities at how good they are at killing their prey. And the most recent one just turned into a weird action comedy that added some strange lore and unnecessary unnecessary scientific elements to it that this feels like it's going back to the basics of Predator. So taking it back in time to an era where it was all about fighting for survival with limited weapons, just a bunch of spears, bow and arrows, axes, throwing in that element also of a Comanche woman who's most usually supposed to be the gatherer, the person who farms or cares for the children or cooks, is instead going to be the one that's like, no, I can fight this Predator, all you guys are going to die. I think sounds pretty cool, and anyone already getting pissed or angry, we have already seen this multiple times, both in the Alien and Predator franchise, where the female is the lead fighting against these extraterrestrials. I can just already see when they finally cast who this Comanche woman is, or when they start releasing trailers, people are gonna make woke videos and get all angry for things that are already pre-established in the franchise. But with this way in the Predator franchise, if this is successful, which hopefully it is, maybe we can start jumping to different time periods and different eras of a Predator against some warrior in a different time. And also, I just want to disclaim, because everyone always gets a little scared when I say Disney is making a Predator movie. They're just the owner of the property. It's going to be released through their new 20th Century logo, where that's where they're going to release their more adult content. So this will most likely be rated R, full bloody and gory. It'll just have some of that Disney money to make this thing look great. But you guys hear about this new Predator movie. Do you like the sound of the plot? Would you have rather it taken place in a different era, or are you just done with the Predator franchise? Moving on to a sequel I cannot wait to see more on about, and this is kind of our first glimpse of what we can expect, is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2, which I want to credit as being the movie that opened the door for the live-action Spider-Man to be getting the approval for Spider-Verse, because remember, this animated movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, won an Oscar, and fans since then have not only been waiting at who are going to be the new Spider people that they will introduce in this movie, we now know one of the first villains that will be part of it. Thanks to Murphy's Multiverse, which has become a very reliable source lately, especially for superhero news, they're going on and saying that Spider-Verse 2 will feature the villain Spot. All you really need to know about the villain Spot is just this one image right here from the comics, and tell me you can't already picture the amazing visuals that these characters will go through when fighting this guy. Essentially, Spot is a lesser known Spider-Man villain that doesn't get a lot of spotlight, which is why I'm liking that Spider-Verse is doing this, is bringing in some of the Spider-Man villains that always don't get the love in big budget adaptations, and now this guy will be getting some of that love. And as the villain Spot, he's able to produce these black holes that end up working as sort of portals, and like I showed you in that photo, Spider-Man punches one hole and his fist comes out the other, punching himself. I think this guy's gonna be pretty epic, and I can see him being a real threat. And you also have to remember, if they got a big long line of Spider-Verse villains, they're gonna have a big long line of villains from the comics. And also, I don't think this guy will be the main villain. He'll just probably be one of the secondary villains that'll be thrown in there as sort of a henchman and whatnot. But if they make him the main villain, alright, bring it on, Spider-Man. Let's see how you can do this. But that is just all the movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Really appreciate your faces. I was thinking of wanting to make another WandaVision video just because the show has got my mind so wrapped. So if you guys have any questions or theories you want me to cover in the next WandaVision video, just go ahead and let me know down below. Also, don't be forgetting to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.